What's up, everybody? It's Danny. So I got a few things to talk about in this video. First off, trim my mustache. Might not notice. Probably have to go look at it in my older videos to actually see a difference. But I trimmed it out. Felt like it was kind of a mess. Been wanting to trim it out for a while, and I finally did it, and I like it. So I got a message from someone who watched my videos, and and he basically asked what it was like for me being gay and having I guess that kind of street urban swag, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, it's not much different from anyone else that's gay. I guess the only difference is that people are more surprised when you come out to them because they usually have no clue whatsoever. Because people have there are stereotypes, and people expect certain or would suspect some people of being gay more than they would suspect others. Um, so when you don't go along with the stereotype, then of course people are more surprised because they have no inkling of it. But otherwise, it's the same as anyone else, I guess. So that, oh, the other thing was that I came out to my dad recently, which is a huge deal for me. Was really scared of doing that because there was, I had some fears that he would actually disown me because he had said some stuff when I was younger, and that made that a possibility and a legit worry, concern of mine before I come out to him. So I finally did it. Whoa, chill out. So I finally did it, and everything was cool. He was cool. He was like, "Oh, it's fine. You're my son, and I love you anyway." And so it worked out great. It's a huge weight off my shoulders, and so that was good. He said, like, that's who you are, and that's fine, and I love you anyway. And he even said that, like, my aunt, I was also worried about, he said that she would be cool with it too. So that's good. So that was good, and then it was cool. So that was good. So I mean, anyone who's trying to come out to someone, do it on your terms. It's not something you can rush. It's definitely nerve-wracking. It took me a while because we were walking through like a park, and I kept on saying to myself, "Okay, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it now. Okay, I'm gonna do it now." And I just kept on postponing and stalling because it's just not an easy thing to come out and say. But I just, I was just like, "There's something I have to tell you." And so I started off with, "There's something I have to tell you," and he goes, "Is it going to cost me any money?" Which is typical of him. And I'm like, "No, but it's something important I want to tell you because you're an important part of my life, because me and my dad are really close." And I wanted to ensure him that I wasn't going to be changing after I told him that I was gay. I didn't want him to think that I've been putting on a front all this time, and that after I tell him I'm going to be, some like different person. I'm the same person. It's just that now he knows me a little bit better than he did before. So I wanted to make sure that he understood that, I was not actually changing as a person. Um, and that I'm still going to be the same person afterwards. And then I was just like, and what I want to tell you is that I'm gay. And he was just like, you're gay? And I was like, yeah. And he said, like, what made you, like, go down that path or make that choice? And I had to, like, let him know I didn't choose it. I just, I am. That's just who I am. I've always been this way. I was born this way. Um, and then he kind of backpedaled, realizing that what he said was stupid. And he was like, oh, yeah. Um, but it all turned out great, is basically the moral of that. So that was good. Um, the, um, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was a few weeks ago, or probably like a month ago now or something. Um, I was walking to a store, and I was looking for Yoo-Hoo because I love Yoo-Hoo. It's hard to find. So I went and I was listening to my voicemail on my cell phone while I was walking to the store. So I went in the store. They didn't carry it, so I left. And then I was walking back to my car, which was like a couple blocks away because I like to walk, trying to lose this winter weight. So I like to walk a little bit when I can. So I'm walking back to my car, and a cop pulls over, and is like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And I'm just like, "Nothing. I'm walking back to my car." And he's like, "No, what are you up to?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And he's like, "What are you up to?" And I'm like, "Do you want me to lie and make something up? Like, I'm not up to anything. I'm walking back to my car." And then he starts grilling me, like he's asking me everything, like my name and where I work. He asked about my dad and about where he works, and he's asking me all these questions. And like I thought I was on an episode of Law and Order. He was just, it was crazy. Um, so I'm just like, whatever, and I'm answering the questions, and he's like, if I ever been arrested before, and and all this shit, and I'm just standing there, and he's like, so you know why I'm like asking you all this? And I'm like, no, and he's like, I just watched you walk to the store, and then you left without buying anything. Oh God, I didn't know it was illegal to go into a store and not buy something. Um, and I'm like, yeah, they didn't have what I was looking for. And he was like, you were on your phone, like looking around. And I'm like, okay, so it's also illegal to be on your phone in public? um, so he's just like, have you ever seen me around here before? And I'm like, no. And in my head, I'm like, I've never seen any cop this close. um, and and he's like, well, I've never seen you either, and I know like everyone around here, which might be true because while we were talking, a couple like random people stopped and were like, hey, how you doing and stuff. But it's like still, you can't know every single person that walks around. It's just impossible. So you can't like just because you haven't seen someone before, you can't be harassing them. Um, but I'm like, okay, and he was like, oh well, like what you're doing is like that's common behavior of drug dealers. And then I just got mad offended, and which I knew that's where he was going with it. But but yeah, I was like, really judge much. um, and so I was just like, no way. That's definitely not what I'm doing. And oh, that okay, hold on, I'll be back. So I was like, no, it's definitely not what's going on here because I'm straight edge, and he actually knew what straight edge was, which I was surprised. Um, he said he had like a friend that's straight edge, and I was like, oh, cool. And in case you guys don't know, straight edge just basically means you don't drink, smoke, or do drugs. Um, and So I happened to have my new straight edge shirt on that day. So I was like, actually, in fact, can I? So I told him, I was like, can I show you something? And he goes, yeah, just don't kill me. It's like, okay. Um, so I opened up my hoodie and showed him my straight edge shirt. And he was like, oh, that's that really convinced him. um, so oh, that's not dirty. Um, so so he was like, oh, okay. And then he said, try Tedeschi's up the street for Yoo-Hoo, and I did, and they had it, and I bought a couple bottles. So it wasn't all for nothing, I guess. I now know somewhere locally that I can get my Yoo-Hoo from. But the point is that he was totally judging me based on appearance and behavior and with no solid evidence, and that's fucked up. So that's not cool. Like, I've never ever had any issues with the police ever, and I've always like prided myself. Like, I feel like I'm setting a good example because I know most people would probably see me and think that I probably am some kind of like hoodlum or drug deal or whatever, but I'm not. And when people find that out, it's good because then I'm like letting people know that not everyone that looks like this is a potentially bad person or someone who does bad things. um, so yeah, so it's just, I guess the moral of the story is, don't judge by, don't judge a book by its cover. Try and have some solid evidence, maybe, maybe he should watch some Law and Order. But that was, yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you guys have any suggestions for topics, let me know. I don't do videos very much because I feel like no one watches them. And no one ever leaves me suggestions, but it's fine, I don't care. But if you do have any suggestions, anything you want me to talk about or anything you want my opinion on, let me know and I will make a video. I probably said this on the last video I made. Oh, you're about to shit, aren't you? But I would like to make videos like a little more often. So yeah, so let me know if you have anything you want me to discuss, and I'll see what I can do. Alright, thank you. Deuces.